Hi, I'm Mark Nickerson, East Lyme's first selectman, and welcome to East Lyme Issues and Answers. We're going to do this every couple of weeks, this show, and bring to you current events, current subjects, debated issues in the town. We'll talk to department heads, town leaders, volunteers from a variety of different organizations, and help understand what's happening in our community. So much happens in our community. Why it happens, and the challenges that face us running a town. You know, we like to think things are always smooth, but there's always debatable issues that come up. So that's why we want to bring that communication to the public. I'm not a politically minded person. It's not in my nature. I'm very much an independent thinker. I got started in East Lyme politics 16 years ago by just kind of raising my hand halfway up saying, yeah, I'll do something. And was put on one of the lower places on the ballot, the zoning commission alternate. And 16 years later, here I am as first selectman. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's very humbling to be your first selectman. And I show up to work every day with a real conviction to do the right thing and to make the right decisions to benefit citizens of East Lyme. There's a whole lot that happens in our town. We have 28 departments that I help to oversee. These 28 departments are always working on projects and improvements to our town and our facilities. Our town is chock full of dozens and dozens of committees and special groups that do so much for our community. So it's not just the government, the 28 departments, but there's so many different citizen groups that come together and form the fabric that is East Lyme. The Lions, the Rotary Club, Care and Share, the Land Trust, the Public Trust, Niantic Main Street, East Lyme Business Organization, which is the Elbow Group. We have 3 historic properties in town, the Agricultural Subcommittee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's not even to mention the youth sports like Little League and football and soccer and lacrosse, the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts and the Girl Scouts and the Brownies. There's so many groups out there that do so much, and it makes this town special. It's the magic of our town. The show is taped, and because of that, we can't take live calls, but I'm very interested in your feedback on shows that have aired and show suggestions which should come up in the future. I'd love to hear from you. So please reach my office. Call my office anytime at 860-691-4110 or email me. And it's a real simple email. My name is Mark Nickerson, so my email is mnickerson@eltownhall.com. mnickerson@eltownhall.com. I'd like to hear from you. Today's my first show. So far, so good. I'm pleased to honored to bring in Joe Bragaw. He's one of East Lyme's superheroes, as I like to call him, East Lyme's Director of Public Works. We're very proud of our Public Works Department. They do so much in our community. We're going to learn a whole lot about it. Welcome, Joe.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you. When I decided we were going to do a first show, I said, Joe's the guy, because you've been there since, I think I was 3 or 4 days on the job, and then a blizzard came to town, and it was you I was leaning on the most right from the beginning. And now we are here in the summer, and we're tearing up roads and fixing roads, and you've made me real smart on how that all works. So let's start with the snowstorms. Tell me about this winter, something we don't already know.
Something we don't already know, because I was going to say it was a really difficult winter, but we don't have blizzards every year. I mean, we've had them the last few years. As people remember in the past, they had them back 20 years ago. But we had a large volume of snow. We had, 24 inches net one, and starting in end of January to early March, and we even had a snowstorm in April. It was a difficult winter. We had a lot of volume of snow. It gets difficult on the residents because we have to put it somewhere. So whether it's a parking lot, whether it's a road, when you got that much snow, you got to get it up over the banks and one of the biggest challenges was the road widths. So when you start pushing the snow in that kind of volume of snow, is the roads start narrowing, and that's when it gets tighter to drive through. So we were aware of that. We were trying to be proactive, and we had some equipment that could widen out the roads, especially in some of our beach areas, Saunders Point, Oak Grove, Black Point, Adawan, some of the other areas, we had to widen those roads out because there just really isn't a lot of room down there anyways. The roads aren't too wide as is. If they start shrinking in width because of all the snow inside, it gets kind of dangerous. So that was a challenge.
We have the most variety of roads possible, don't we? I mean, we have a city situation down in downtown Niantic where you had to clear the roads because people park along the streets, there's sidewalks. We have those small beach communities where you barely can fit a truck down.
Correct.
And then where do you put the snow? Because it's house, and not a lot of room. And then you have these country roads up in the north part of town, so you have all this variety. And you were mentioning we were putting snow on top of snow, but a big challenge I know was the sidewalks.
Exactly. We have 14 miles of sidewalk in town, and whether it seems like a lot or not, that's a lot. And in the town of East Lyme, we do have, there's no specific ordinance that the residents are supposed to clear the sidewalk in front of them, so that honor and that responsibility comes onto the town. So we have two trackless pieces of equipment that we have to clear the walks, and it's a challenge because the guys are tired. The same guys that plow the snow actually clear the walks, and they could be in for 24 hours in a storm. Or more, and then we, sometimes we then, as soon as they get a little bit of sleep, then we bring them back in. We actually had the sidewalks cleared in the middle of the nights at times because the public expects to be able to walk on a clean sidewalk, and someone has to do it. And all our guys that are available are plowing snow. So the sidewalks was a big challenge, and it's frustrating for our guys because they get tired, they have to keep going. Some of it is handwork, but that's our job. That's what we do, and they're proud to do it.
Most impressive, and we're proud of you guys. Most impressive was your work downtown on Niantic Main Street, where we we started our work at midnight or late at night, and we were using payloaders to truck the snow out and clear sidewalks and create parking spaces again because businesses need to be open. People's livelihoods and their businesses needed to eventually open up again. I walked down Main Street just shortly after you did that. It was right after, it was 3 or 4 days after the blizzard. Make sure businesses were open again. And I got nothing but complimentary comments about your guys. The detailed work, like the handwork that you guys were doing just to make sure businesses were open and people stayed safe at the same time.
Yep. I mean, that whole operation when we cleared the sidewalks in the downtown area, it's a must. When you have that much snow, there's nowhere to park. This is a downtown area. It's our responsibility to get that snow out of there so that not only the people can park to go to downtown businesses, but they can get around, and it just brings back the community to be able to, move around downtown without just being snarled by a 18-inch wide path in the middle of the downtown area. So we did it. I'm very cognizant of the fact that we have fantastic guys. They're the ones making it happen out in the streets, and we try to thank them as much as we can because they did a phenomenal job. They never complained. There was times, as you mentioned, where it's 2 in the morning and they're out clearing snow. I'm sure they'd be loved and sleeping like everyone else.
Right.
But they did a great job, and we're lucky to have them.
And it was snowstorm on top of snowstorm. It was like every week there was this 24-hour cycle, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, that these guys had to put in, around-the-clock coverage for this. So the hats off to everybody at the Parks and Rec, the Public Works, the Water and Sewer Commission. All our guys ladies come together and make sure that our town gets back up on its feet, and people can travel safely, walk safely, businesses can open safely, and then of course get their kids back in school so we can all go to work once the kids are back in school, get back into our routine. So hats off. It's mid-end of June here, and we're talking snow, so let's shift. But it's those storms then cause. I mean, I'm sure your budget was blown out. Nobody expected this kind of snow. So how do we pay for it?
You do the best you can. I mean, when you go through a year, the first thing you do is pay for your winter operations, but then you find out what's left. This year, we certainly kind of dug into those accounts, but I think we did a good job of balancing that out. It had to come out of some of the road work. So, you get the double whammy, a double-edged sword of not only do you have to pay more for the snow operation, but you have less to fix the roads. And this is about the worst year I can remember, and the other public works directors and departments agreed as far as heaves. I know Lovers Lane, Grassy Hill Road, There's a lot of other locations in town, but the potholes were brutal. It was prime pothole brewing weather as far as, it was freezing at night, thaw out during the day, just was popping the pavement. So, then we have to clean up after that mess come April and start getting our hands around what the damage is.
Well, not only did you have all the storms to worry about, you're right, what moved you to superhero status in my eye was that shortly after the winter, we established a phone line that our citizens could call in, not just leave a message, but talk to a worker, a person in our public works department, and take the addresses down of where the damage has been done for potholes and curbing and all that, and report it, and we could triage that list and get out there and fix the roads, because the potholes are just as dangerous as a slick road sometimes.
Yep. Public works departments in general and throughout Connecticut are kind of changing, and the proactive departments are reaching out there, and they realize that they're a customer service organization. We provide services to public. We're not just we pave the roads, we plow them. We do a lot of things for the residents. We value added. So by reaching out and looking at it as customer service, we were trying to be proactive to think we knew we were going to have a tough pothole year. So put the word out. And I got a lot of feedback. I got kidded by my friends and people out there. You're the pothole guy. But in the end, we didn't have as many potholes because we were trying to be proactive to look for them, because we can't possibly know where all the potholes are on 114 miles of road.
Right.
So by letting the public tell us where the issues are and acknowledging them, and then getting the word out to our crews, we were able to pretty quickly address those potholes and save probably a lot of front-end alignments and a lot of blown tires. And again, those are our residents and our taxpayers.
Again, I get nothing but complimentary. There's a few disgruntled citizens, and rightfully so. This was a tough winter. It was tough to have that kind of patience. I think we were all right at the end. But I got so many complimentary comments, letters, emails, pats on the back. Hey, give the boys our best. So hats off to all your guys, your crew. Let's switch gears. Tell me about your job history. How did you find East Lyme?
Well, interesting enough, I lived here. I've lived here all my life.
Right.
I moved to town when I was 1. I love this town. I went to high school here, and ironically, my son is graduating today after I graduated 30 years ago from high school. My wife's from East Lyme, so I love the town. And unfortunately, the former Public Works Director, Mike Giantasio, who I knew well when I was the director in Stonington, passed away a few years ago, and it was Mike was a great guy.
Sure was.
I had tons of respect for Mike, and an opportunity came where East Lyme was looking to see if I could come in and work.
You were over at Stonington?
I was the director of Public Works at Stonington for 11 years. I think I did as best job as I can, but I still lived in East Lyme, and as soon as I drove home from work, I put my maroon and white back on and went up to all my youth basketball, baseball, East Lyme stuff. So that's where I came, and I still live in town. I like to think that I'm a taxpayer and a water sewer customer, but I'm also the director. So that's kind of a nice.
It must be easier being in East Lyme now, because I remember when you were at Stonington, you'd be racing back from Stonington. You'd coach my kids in Little League, and you'd be changing your shirt in the car, racing down to the field, and then looking at your watch, going, "I got to get to a town meeting back out at Stonington." But we all do that. But it must be, and you still do it.
It's a special privilege to do it.
In town.
It's a special privilege to do it in the town that you're at. And I just have such an affection for everything. I mean, I grew up in Flanders, but I live in Niantic. Right. It's such an interesting town because of the dynamic of living in Flanders and living in Niantic. It's like you're in two separate towns. So I understand that. I know all the history. I remember when McDonald's at the corner of Flanders, Four Corner, wasn't even there, and it was the Victorian old building. So when you have the history of this town, then you better understand the infrastructure.
I think that's real cool. I don't share the same history. I grew up in north of Boston, and my wife and I moved down to southeastern Connecticut, and we were in an apartment in Groton, and it was time to choose a community to live in and find our first home. And we did a lot of research. We didn't have kids, and we were 5 years from having kids, but East Lyme stood out. So while some people grew up here, some people get to choose to live here, and that's my story. It's such an amazing place. There's so much magic. Our our new superintendent of schools has the same similar career path. He grew up here, went through the school system, earned his wings in other communities, and now he's back leading our schools. So nice.
And his
nice
mother
thing.
was my kid's music teacher. So
I love that.
everything is full circle. And you just care that much more. And that doesn't mean people that don't live in the town they care. It's just a wonderful town.
So let's talk about road work. Because here it is, it's summer months. We see your crews out there digging up roads, repaving roads, all the different things you do to treat roads. Tell us your philosophy on how that works and what we should expect.
I'm glad you asked that because it's really challenging because every year the town graciously puts aside $900,000 in bonding money to do in the roads, and it's again sounds like a lot of money. It really isn't. We have 114 miles of road, and if you so the other strategy is most of the proactive departments in the state and just in general, the public works departments are trying to change their philosophy on how they take care of roads, and they're not just fixing the worst road first. If you fix the worst road first, then you get nowhere fast because then you spend the $900,000 on a half a mile of road, and then you got 113 and a half miles of road that need work. Right. So what you need is you need to push the money across all the different kinds of roads, and you need to keep the roads that are in decent shape in good shape. It costs a lot less to crack seal a road than it does to completely reconstruct a road. Mm-hmm. So that's a challenge to the residents because they look at their road and say, my road's worse, why are they working on that road? So we're very particular trying to identify which roads need the right treatment. It's the right treatment at the right time for the right road.
Right.
And so that, since I've gotten here in the last year and a half, I've already driven every road twice just to specifically inspect them because I don't want to go spend $30,000 to have a company tell me the roads in town that we need to when we drive them every day. Right. I want to drive that road, get a feel for that road, understand that the kind of traffic volumes are like, say Society Road. Why, someone driving that might not realize the amount of traffic if they catch it at the wrong time because school's not in, that you have the community center, the middle school, and Lily B. So, our department has a good feel for what roads need to be done, which ones are getting well traveled, and so we're trying to spread that money. So right now, I mentioned the two roads that got really beat up this winter, Lover's Lane and Grassy Hill. We're looking to work on those this summer. We've identified 4 or 5 neighborhoods that we're looking to do a treatment called cape sealing, which it coats the road and gets all the cracks covered, and then it puts like a sealant course. It's like a heavy-duty commercial sealing job. Mm-hmm. But what it does is it can last 7 or 8 years, and it actually buys the time where the residents have a good, well-traveled road or smooth road to drive on. It keeps the road in decent condition, but it buys me more time to fix the other roads. Right. So is it a brand new road? No, we acknowledge that. But if it's 3 times more to put in a new road than to put a pavement treatment. Right. So that's the challenge. And some people understand it. Other residents, they don't necessarily want to agree with me, but they also aren't trying to balance the budget that I am of trying to keep taxes down and use as little money as possible to keep the tax burden down. So it's a challenge. I appreciate people's comments. We'll always look at something a second time if someone suggests, well, no, can you really reconsider that? We're open for that, but.
Yeah, I know that of you. I know you get feedback constantly because that's the nature of the job. But I also know that you listen and you accept that feedback and you double think sometimes. You'll go out and reconsider or at least take a look at it and line that up against your budget and your plan and make sure that whatever decision you've made is the right one.
Yeah, another one of the things we do, and I did it in Stonington and it seemed to work, is we'd like to send letters out giving people a heads up before things happen. Mm-hmm. So they don't see a paving contractor or a guide rail contractor, someone showing up and they never knew anything about it. Most people understand so long as they heard about it, and not when it's there. So we're trying to reach out, let people know, give them an opportunity to, get back in touch with questions, vent, whatever. Sure. We can explain it. Maybe we have to reconsider something, but in the end, we're doing this in the best interest of the town of East Lyme, because we have a huge undertaking as far as keeping the roads. I mean, not every family has kids to go to the school. Not every family has a fire at their house, but everyone drives on the roads or bikes, walks, or drives on the roads. So it's a huge stewardship that we have of keeping the roads maintained in good condition, and we take that seriously.
We're talking to Joe Bragaw today. He's the Director of Public Works in East Lyme. His wife's Lisa. She owns Zen and Now.
Yep.
We'll give a plug for them down on Flanders Road. 3 boys, 1 heading to the Coast Guard Academy. We got to be proud about that.
Yep.
And 2 boys on their way up through the system. Baseball coach and all those other things. Joe, list all the things really quickly, just bullet points, the things that you're responsible for as Public Works Director, because it blows me away when I hear this list.
Well, we have the roads. I mean, there's 114 miles of roads. We have the sidewalks. There's 13 miles of sidewalk. All the catch basins. I mean, there's probably 2,000 of them. Street lights. We had to, if they're out, we have to contact that. We do mowing along the side of the road, catch basin cleaning. Then under my department, we have the engineering. So we assist with some of the projects that are at the high school, with the football field, and any when the tennis courts came along, or give us technical assistance to the Board of Ed. We had the boardwalk going on, a lot of special projects, the streetscapes, and then we also have the water and sewer department, which comes under me, which it's a $5 million organization. East Lyme Water and Sewer is interesting because a lot of other communities, it's a private contractor,
Right.
but we are one and the same. We are wearing 2 different hats. So, I had to protect the roads, but if the water department has to cut into my roads, I have to fix the roads. So I got to yell at myself. But the water and sewer department, the IT department, building maintenance, we maintain the community center, the town hall, the PD, the fire stations, the underground storage tanks, the salt domes. There's a lot of things. Your head could spin. You never get everything done. You just got to prioritize, keep everyone smiling, and whether it's the residents or whether it's my employees, it will all get done. We just have to prioritize. And
you have an amazing temperament for this, because I know, because I work in the same building as you. Sometimes all those things happen at the same time.
Oh, it's a lot of balls.
You have a lot of issues that will go, all the stars align, and all of a sudden it's a road issue, a water and sewer issue, a boardwalk issue, a catch basin issue, all within 5 minutes of one another, and you handle them all. And then you're dealing with employees too. I mean, we have employees.
Day-to-day business is okay, is easy, because the thing that I always have challenges with is the natural disasters, the hurricanes, the storms, because Mother Nature is whacking you, and you have to respond. Yes. And that's the most helpless feeling I have, because you have to stay calm through not knowing if you're going to have tidal surges or 5 feet of snow or whatever it is. But that, so I take it in stride that if you can get through those any day at work, you just got to prioritize, keep your people smiling. We have a fantastic staff. I mean, I'm so proud of them. They come to work every day. They do a great job for the town, and I think people appreciate it. I get tons of compliments, and typically you wouldn't expect that in this industry, because you think you get more complaints, but we get a lot of compliments.
Yes, you do, and sometimes they go through me, and I forward them to you. And people are very grateful for this community and the people that put in their time and their talent and their passion. And it's passion. Yeah. I mean, for you, it's not just a job. It's service to the community. And I see this all over town. The people are, they're punching in, and then they're dedicated and they're loyal, and they have passion for their jobs. And I'm talking right down to the guy that spent 24 hours in a cab plowing snow during a snowstorm. I mean, he wanted to get that road clean, and he wanted to do that job and not let Mother Nature or the storm get ahead of him. And everybody on board, and that's what we see all over town. And people recognize that. They recognize excellence. So I appreciate that. What's in store for you? What's the future of Public Works? What are your big projects coming up that we should talk about in the couple minutes we have left?
Well, I mean, right now we're trying to take care of our fueling stations. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but our underground storage tanks, where all the buses and all our equipment is fueling up, we have to get through the next step of moving that location, because right now it's not an ideal location in 12 Roxbury. That's one of the projects we have coming up. Getting a better handle of the roads, and just be able to get some of the water and sewer department has all kinds of projects. Yeah. We just got the interconnection come online, but there's a lot of things going on. We have a big upgrade. Our water and sewer infrastructure is coming up 20, 25 years old, and there's a lot of things happening on that side. We have a fantastic utility engineer, Brad Cargill, who has this list of all these projects, and I feel bad because we're trying to move some of these forward. He's a fantastic guy, extremely knowledgeable, and is trying to give our engineering department, our public works department is trying to help him move this stuff, because in the end, it's going to help the town of East Lyme to have a good water and sewer infrastructure. And right now, it's aging. We struggle with a lot of the, and I know people get frustrated. We've had some increases the last few years, but we're trying to get that under control. I don't want to have to be increasing the water and sewer budget, but we have to put the right maintenance into it. We have to make sure the system is functioning. People can turn on the taps, and people can use the sewer system. So.
Lots of things coming up.
A lot of things coming up.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for being my first guest on East Lyme Issues and Answers. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for tuning in. I have a few things to update people on. The streetscape is going on downtown. It's nearing the end. Thank you for your patience. If you've been traveling downtown, you notice how wonderful it is. We came up Pennsylvania Ave and stopped at the Hole in the Wall, kind of made the corner around the Hope Street, and that's kind of neat. Farmers Market starts on Thursdays. June 25th will be the first Thursday. We have the Farmers Market down on Methodist Street. Starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Go visit that, support that, and let's watch that even grow better than it ever has been. July 18th, celebrate East Lyme Day. Make your plans now, July 18th. Fireworks, street fair, we're already gearing up for it. We've had several meetings already planning, even though it's in its 10th or 15th year. It's been going on for a while. Every year there's a whole lot of dedication and talent that gets put into this to review the process and make sure it goes smoothly. The Hole in the Wall Beach, it's closed during the week. The Hole in the Wall is closed. The beach is open with access to McCook's, if you haven't learned that yet. Now that the nice weather is here. All our beaches are open 7 days a week, but the access through the wall, because of the construction of the boardwalk, that access is closed off. So to enter the Hole in the Wall Beach, you go around to McCook's. VFW is having car shows every other Monday on their property, 5 p.m. every other Monday. They have sandwiches for sale and drinks and classic and antique cars down there. Go check that out. And the Smith Harris House, I don't have the date. They're having an antique motorcycle show coming up, and I'll have that date for you during my next show. The Oswegatchie Friends of the River, Friends of the Hills Regatta. They have a kayak regatta. Mark your calendars for August 22nd. And there's many other things coming in. I'll update you next show. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Joe Bragaw, Director of Public Works. Outstanding information we got today. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time on East Lyme Issues and Answers.